Hello and welcome to a new tutorial here for Metal Gear Solid Speedrunning. I'm very happy to tell you that today's trick can be performed on PC and console, no matter which version of the game, no matter which region, and of course, again, no matter which platform you're playing on. So let's get started. What is the Boba Skip? In a casual playthrough, streamer on twitch.tv/Boba found that she can just clip through the frozen door in 𝐇𝐚𝐮 during the chase sequence. What's really cool is that this trick is reproducible, and we could do that in a few ways. The main idea is that you get very close to the door and then that you get damaged in order to have an animation play that will put your hitbox through the door and hitting the trigger on the opposite side of the door. This has only been reproduced so far successfully with this one door in the frozen version. Even if you do the skip successful and go back into the tower again now that the door has been unfrozen, you can't reproduce that trick anymore. It has to do with how this door works with the trigger and the sound cue that plays when you go close to the door, and of course the specific way the door interacts with the level and you as the player. If you want to practice this trick, it is recommended that you go from a tower, a roof safe, or on your first playthrough just go all the way up to the tower and then go back down again. That way you don't have to deal with the guards chasing you, because once you are reaching the top of the tower and go back down again, these guards will be gone. So the very first way how you can set up this trick is very simple. The base idea is that you lean against the door, just holding with the D-pad up against it, and then go to the left sides all the way until you can't go any further. Let go of the D-pad and then press triangle to go into first person mode and align yourself to the left at a very precise angle that you can see in the screenshot here. This angle will always be the same thanks to the way how D-pad and first person looking works. There's only a certain amount of angles that you can hit, and if you're too far, maybe just tap once back again to hit the exact angle that you need. Now it's just a matter of getting out a chaff or a stun grenade in your hand and then let it cook with the weapon key. And after a few seconds, when the grenade pops, you will have your damage animation play. Now, up until the point of grabbing the grenade, you have done everything that you could 100%. The animation that plays after you get damaged is a little bit luck-based. We assume that it is between 50-50, so a 50% chance that you have a small knockback animation, or a 50% chance that you have a large knockback animation. What you want, of course, is the big knockback animation, and that will put you through the door and then, of course, successfully have you do the Boba Skip. So, unfortunately, so far we have not found a way to make it 100% reliable, but this is still the most reliable way that we can set it up. Next I'm going to show you how it works if you have the Socom out. So basically you can't do this without the guards, of course, because you want to have the guards shoot you in order to take damage and then play the right animation. You again just need to lean yourself against the door, preferably also go again to the left side, and then angle yourself. Just get out your Socom and hold the weapon key in order to aim at the guard, and then automatically align yourself with the guard. And if you're lucky and the angle is right from the guard towards you, when the guard shoots you, you also play the big knockback animation, and that again lets you perform the Boba Skip. The problem with this trick is that, one, the guards are not reliable, they can stand in any position towards you and be also in the wrong angle. And the second way is that you are taking damage from a pistol of the guards, which is more damage than what you would take from any of the grenades. And especially on higher difficulties, say extreme any %, where you don't have any upgrades of your health, you want to keep as much health as possible. That's why in general, we also recommend the stun or chaff setup that I proposed in the beginning of the video. So with that way, you only take minor damage and can continue on.
Snake! What happened? Snake! Snake!
So how does this work actually in a full run now outside of practice? You start at the floor of Tower A, and you either have a grenade in your hand or a stun in order to run towards the door. Start cooking around this point here, and then just walk towards the door, stop right at the door, throw the grenade, no matter which version, and then let go. As soon as the grenade pops, you will have the alert begin. This skips a little cutscene that plays in the beginning usually. Then just grab the stun grenades, do not grab the rope, we don't need it anymore, and it would mess with our menus later down the road. And then walk up the tower. In general, I recommend, no matter which version you're on, that you throw a stun on your way up. The first stun that you throw will be at the mark 5 on the floor, because between mark 6 and 7 there's a guard on the stairs, and if you throw it just at 5 it will pop in the moment where you bypass the guard, so you don't accidentally take damage. You could also in theory save this stun, but it is generally just working better for you, especially if you're just starting out. Just keep on moving up, and then after the guard there's already mark 7, and on mark 8, that's the last turn before we get to the door, we throw another stun. So we have the maximum amount of time between the guards chasing us and us attempting to set up the Boba Skip. Now again, it's just a matter of leaning against the door, go all the way to the left, go into first person, look to the left at the perfect angle, and then have a chaff or stun in your hand. I would recommend that you use 2 stuns going up and keep the third stun in your hand, and then you use a chaff for the actual door skip. If you do it successful in first try, you still have 1 stun left in your hand, and that will make another skip later down the road much easier for you, especially if you're on any percent. But of course you can also use this stun here as well. It depends on which category you're running, any percent or bosses, and of course how secure you are that you get it first try. Because the idea is if you pop a stun at the door and it doesn't work successful, you have another chance quickly to set up with another grenade, like a chaff, in order to set up again. The guards will be stunned from the stun, of course, that failed to pop in your hand and execute the Boba Skip, so you have at least 1 second chance. In other categories, it can be that you have even more stun grenades in your hands. So let me quickly tell you where you can grab all of these stuns. In any percent, when you go to the heliport, we usually grab the stun that's right there in the beginning. We grab the chaff on the heliport itself and then go to the left. This is the route that we need to do anyway for any percent, so we have 2 weapons in our hands and inventory when we want to perform the dress up skip. Next then, we have stuns, of course, also in the new building B1. This is a set of stuns that you usually don't grab, but if you're unsure and if you want to have some extra precaution, especially if you're just beginning, it is worth it quickly taking a little time loss, going into that building and grab the stuns. And last but not least, of course, the stun pack at the floor of Tower A. That's where you grab them, and then you have the maximum amount of stuns without much time loss, and in theory you have loads of chances to perform the Boba Skip. Again, in an actual run, you wouldn't grab the one in the new building, you just make do with what you have. But of course that is risky and can happen that your run just dies right there within the first 12 minutes of the run. So in conclusion, the Boba Skip works because we have a precise angle towards the door and we damage ourselves with a large knockback animation, so in order to put the hitbox right through the door and hit the load trigger to go out onto the walkway. You can perform the same trick with the Socom in your hand, just aim at a guard, and if you're lucky and the angle is correct, he will knock you back big, and then you go through the door as well. But it's generally recommended to use the chaff or stun version because it is more reliable, because we know for a fact that there's a 50% chance versus the guards, which can be unreliable and unknown if you have all the parameters set up correctly, plus the additional challenge of a 50-50 chance that you only have a small knockback animation versus the big one. Alright, now that you know how to perform this trick, let's go and save some time. This trick roughly saves 2 minutes on the PC version and around 2.5 minutes on the console version, because there's a few more codecs we need to skip and cutscenes we can't skip that quickly. More importantly also, we save the rappel sequence, which is always the same issue for many runners, especially when they start out. So there's an easy save now, where we don't even need to do that anymore. And additionally, especially on console, we don't need to do anything anymore for the walkway, because the level that we load in does not have these guards, saving us both time and not requiring us to learn more about the run. So overall, the route has become also a little bit easier to learn and get started. And of course, enjoy the runs, and I see you in another tutorial. My name is Astis here for Metal Gear Speedrunners. Join us again at metalgearspeedrunners.com to know more about those games, and of course all the other games that we run. And of course, if you want to, join our Discord and get to know all of us personally. We very much like to have you around, teach you maybe one of those games, and then see you again on the leaderboard. Have a nice day and see you soon.